Hey everybody, this is going to be a training video. I do want to start out by thanking everyone for volunteering. I know you don't have to be here, you all choose to be here, and that's a very selfless thing that everyone does. And that being said, I hope you take this video as a training lesson to make sure that everything that needs to get done here is actually getting done here. So Christine obviously was watching everything for me and helping out while I was gone, and she'll be the first one to tell you that when I came back, we debriefed and she went through a whole host of things that were either not done or done incorrectly, or things that were put back the wrong way, or things that were just overlooked, people leaving shifts early. And I started taking notes over the last couple days that I've been back, and I quickly came up with a big list of things, and you know, some of them are minor, but it really is a good idea to go over them. So we're going to start, and I'm just going to show you quick little clips of things to pay attention to. And I do want to direct you to the cluster post that was just put up by Dawn about the containers of food under the Peacock shelving. That is a perfect example. Tom specifically designed that shelf, and I specifically bought containers that measured exactly what we needed in order for those to fit like a puzzle piece. Those should be completely protected and stay clean all the time. And the fact that every Wednesday Dawn has to scrub them all down, it doesn't make any sense. They shouldn't ever be pooped on. Those should stay brand new. Just like, honestly, everything around here is not that old. The oldest thing we have is the barn, and that's only 10 years old. The Peacock building is 2. The Duck building is maybe 5. Most of our fencing is just 3 years old. The older part of the fencing is maybe only about 6 years old. This stuff is new. It should still stay new. And I need everybody's help, whether it be a shovel or a scoop or fencing or a door or a window. We've got to keep everything looking good. So I'm going to run through some things in the next dozen or so clips. So most everyone has been great at cleaning off the dock here and the patio of all of the goose poop. If you have forgotten to do that, please do get back in that habit. And along those same lines, it's great for those of you that come down and clean it. But if you bring a bucket and a shovel or a dustpan and a brush, please make sure that you put them back where you found them so that I don't have to go around after the shift and pick these things up. Also, this time of year, we talked about predators. We mostly talked about the hawk. That's the first thing you'll see. I'm filming here because on the top of this building, right up there, sometimes is a heron, or right there, or right there. And the great blue heron is very beautiful, but he will eat our fish. So everybody needs to remember, we also have many, many rescue fish from an ASPCA cruelty case. Just because they're fish doesn't mean that we want them to be eaten by the heron. So as you're doing your shift, and you're looking up, or you see a duck looking up, make sure that you are always checking not just for hawks, but for heron. And the easiest way to get rid of them is just to walk towards them or run towards them, clap your hands, and yell, and they will very gently and delicately take off. So our volunteer John is going around the rest of the property and picking up all the horse manure that Johnny, Sassy, and April leave behind. If you have forgotten to do this, and everyone's wondering why they're wrapping up their shifts so early because there's no more barn cleaning and there's not a lot of hay dropping. This is why, because you want to make sure that you go around the yard and pick up the manure every single shift. And this is Janice. She's in the pig pen and she's walking around picking up the pig poop, which is awesome. You're going to find it mostly along this fence line, but it is really important that everybody pick it up. Again, each and every shift. The reason why our lean-tos back there look as bad as they do is because manure wasn't picked up over and over and over again, and now we've got inches and inches and inches of what looks like dry dirt or moist dirt, and it's not. It's actually animal manure. So now that we've got this brand new pig pen for the pigs, let's make sure we keep it clean. So as you can see, we've been doing some repair work on the barn doors. We're going to get them all painted up nice and new and get ready for tour season. And along those same lines, we want to start focusing on making sure these buildings are clean. It's springtime. We've got spring, summer, and fall before the winter set in, and we've got a lot of buildings to scrub. I'm going to find a new area for these buckets to go each night, and after each shift, I should say. They'll be somewhere close by, but just not right in front, so it's the first thing you see. And just a reminder, we do have not only a list of extra cleaning projects and a video of extra cleaning projects, but things like this, and I just mentioned that this duck building is only about 5 years old. This looks like it's 50 years old. This is disgusting. And people are walking by it, and shifts are leaving early and wrapping everything up early. And I just ask, it's only a 2-hour shift a week. That's all we ask you to commit to, and everybody has. But if you're wrapping up at 10:15 or at 5:15, please see me or whoever the supervisor is on that day and ask for another project so that you stay for the 2 hours. There is so much work that needs to be done. Every window needs Windexing. Every outdoor of every building needs washing. And while I'm showing you these buckets, please note that these new square buckets that you've just seen over the last couple weeks, that's for a reason. They are new and they are a different shape. And again, there's a reason for that. This is pig food buckets. These go back and forth to Roger Williams in people's vehicles. These have to stay as clean as possible. They're getting food put in them. Some people were using these for manure pickup, and that is an absolute no-no. These are for pig food only, the square ones. That's why they look different. We did that on purpose. So again, as I've mentioned in a lot of videos, if you ever have a question, first, before you do something, stop and think, hey, this bucket looks different than the buckets we've used for forever. I wonder why. And if you can't figure out on your own that there is a reason why, they're a different size, they're a different shape, and they're always a lot cleaner, stop and ask somebody so that we don't have to scrub manure out of pig food buckets. All right, the next thing is dirty dishes. If you are going to move a dish out of a building, be it the barn or the duck house or the peacock house, if you're going to move them out, I presume it's for cleaning them, or put them back in when you're done if you're not going to clean them. But people that are moving dishes out and then they're just leaving them for the rest of the day, I'm not really sure why that's happening. So if you are going to move them to clean them, please actually clean them and don't leave them for the next shift to do that. All right, let's talk about laundry again. So for some reason we make so much laundry, and I don't really know why. We don't even have any dogs in the kennel as of late, but we end up with piles and piles. So a couple things. One, if you are shaking something out, that's great, and I thank you for doing that. If you're shaking it out and we can use it again in the barn or in one of the bird buildings, let's use it again so I don't have to do the laundry. If you are shaking it out and you're laying it over the fences all along there or around the other side of the building, please note that it just makes it look like a shanty town. We kind of look like a trailer park when that happens. And if you're doing it for your shift, that's totally fine. But if you're doing it and then you leave, and you leave 18 blankets lined up on my fences, it just looks like crap. I don't know how else to say that. If you're going to shake something out and you're going to put it over the fence, finish whatever it is you're doing with that. If it's so dirty that it has to go in the laundry, then put it up in the barn loft in one of the laundry baskets. If it is clean enough that it can be folded back up or it can be used again, please do that. And if it's so disgusting that you have no choice but to throw it away, then please put it in the garbage. But just don't hang things on the fence line and then walk away and expect that somebody else is going to take care of it, because I guarantee you, the next shift isn't going to take care of it. It's going to be me that ultimately, like 2 or 3 days later, ends up having to take my time to take care of the laundry or anything else that's been left around. Also along the lines of laundry, people are using the fencing on the pig pen to lay out mats or doormats, anything that we use under our feet on the floor. And it's great to, again, shake them out and put them on the fence, but here's the problem. This was literally just painted last fall, only a few months ago, by our volunteer painter, Michelle. This looks beautiful and brand new. and someone laid a mat, and now this is just full of disgusting dried dirt. It looks awful. This looks like it was never painted. If you are going to put a mat down and you realize you make this dirty, you gotta clean this too. You can't just take the mat away and leave this. Again, we're getting ready for tour season. We have so many fundraisers here and so many tours coming up, and this is one of the first things that people see, and it just is not looking good. If we can talk about random things for just a second, this is a pile of things that I did not put here. Somebody did. It wasn't me, and I'm not really sure why. If you were the one who picked up the snow stake out of the driveway, thank you. But give it to me and let me know that it needs to be put somewhere. And there's a tomato cage as well. I honestly don't know where that came from. It ended up just laying here on the ground. And it's been here for a couple of weeks now, and I've been waiting to see if the people who dropped it are the people who are going to pick it up and ask me where it goes. So today I'm finally going to break down and put it away myself. If you are bringing food for the pigs, thank you so much. We can never have enough pig food. When you do bring it, we've created this really, really organized shelving system. So just go to the very last bin that has food in it, because you're bringing the newest stuff. So I just took out the Thursday morning bin, and I am going to dump that in there. So all these little things, if everyone can just follow through completely 100% on something that you are doing, which is very nice, it would be really helpful so that I don't have to come out and realize I've got an hour's worth of work of all these little projects. So again, thank you everybody for bringing food. Just do me the favor and put the food where it's going to belong, and not just, randomly on a shelf or something, and then we stumble upon it a couple days later and it's gone bad. Also, since we're in the feed room, it is not good in here. This is not swept. These trash cans are filthy dirty. I don't know how it gets so disgusting. I know last night I saw, oh good, it looks like somebody picked it up, but there was a giant pile of food that had spilled out, and no one realized, well, they picked up today, they picked up the big parts, but no one realized, whoever spilled it, that they need to sweep all this up. You can't just leave all this stuff on the ground. Again, we have rats. We are a farm. We live in fields and woods, and we get rats. And if they smell the food and they think they can get to the food, they're going to come in and get to the food. So we've got to clean up. If you spill something, you have to pick it up. Also, if you take something from anywhere, from up in the loft, from one of the tool sheds, please put it away. I come in and I cannot tell you how many times every single step has something on it. And people have borrowed gloves or boots or jackets or hats or tissues or sunscreen, and then they just line it up on the steps and then they leave for their shift. I am not your mother. I'm sorry. I don't know how else to say that. I'm not the housekeeper around here. I'm nobody's mom. I'm nobody's maid. I need everybody to put everything back. I was going to say this at the end, but it's similar to what I put on this week's handout that I'm giving to everybody is, as executive director, my job is to manage the business. It is to manage the business. It is to handle marketing and PR and grant writing and fundraising and letters to donors and communications. And when I tell you that I work 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, year round, I don't know if everybody believes me. And Christine will tell you all she did, and I'm saying all in quotes because she did a lot, but she'll be the first one to tell you, all she did was supervise the volunteers for me. And she worked 10 to 12 hours a day the entire time that I was gone. And she said she was so exhausted that she passed out every night. This is a hard, hard job. And yes, I have agreed to do it. Of course, that's why I run this place. But I wear 3 hats. I have to be the volunteer supervisor, I have to be the grant writer and fundraiser, and I have to be the executive director. And those are all full-time jobs. There's only so many hours in the day. I already work 10, 12, sometimes 14 hours a day. I can put in 100 hours in the course of a week. But I can't put in 3 full-time positions. So I need everybody to help me, please. We are 5.5 months through the year, and I've only raised I've only raised out of the $150,000 I need to raise every year. I am only about $20,000. I have been so distracted by teaching the volunteers about the pigs, teaching the volunteers about the lamb, bringing on new volunteers and making sure, I get them to the right people to get training. I've been taken away from all of the things that I need to do to actually raise money to keep us afloat. And if I can't get to that job, I promise you, we're going to have to shut down. And that's not what I want to do. We serve a really, really good purpose. We're the only farm animal sanctuary in the state, in the whole area. There's not another place like us, and we serve a great purpose. But we're not going to be able to stay alive if I don't get to do what my job is. And yes, not to get too off topic, but most organizations have a really good board of directors that handles a lot of the grant writing and fundraising. Unfortunately, that's just not our situation here. It's me. It's 99.9% me. So I can't rely on the board. Instead, I have to rely on all of you to do everything that I need you to do so that I can do everything that I need to do. I hope that makes sense. I hope it doesn't sound like too much of a complaint. It's just the reality. Most of you who have known me for any length of time know that I was a managing partner of a high-end litigation law firm. And I only say that to tell you this is a harder job than that was. And I did that for almost 20 years. And this is the hardest thing I've ever done. So I need everybody to help me as much as possible. I could do this if I had 3 full-time staff people. I don't. I can't afford to have 3 full-time staff people. I rely on volunteers. And I really need everybody to try to just ask if there's one more thing that they can do before they go. I would appreciate that. Getting back to where we are, everybody knows this. There are no boots. There are no boots uncovered or no boots at all in the loft. And what I don't understand is why, as soon as you step on the floor here, it looks absolutely disgusting. People are coming up here and they're not putting on booties or they're not taking their boots off. It's not optional. It's absolutely positively mandatory. I cannot clean this floor. It's not cleanable. This barn is 10 years old and I managed to keep it as clean as possible by making sure everybody follows that one rule. I don't know what this is or why we got it to this point. This needs to stop immediately. This cannot happen. Boots with booties or no boots. And I have never called out anybody, not on a video, not on Cluster, not on a clipboard. I don't have a choice. I'm going to start telling people when I see them that they are doing something wrong. I don't know how else to change everyone's behaviors unless I actually bring it to your attention if I see it happening. So please don't be offended if I do. It's all a teaching moment. I really, really, really need everybody. If you want to volunteer here and you want to pitch in, I really need you to actually volunteer here and pitch in. And that's doing the job 100%. Now we're up here in the loft, and you'll see I've started to order extras, doubles and triples of everything, and that's so we don't run out. I used to ask people to report to me if we were getting low on something, and frankly, that just never, literally never worked. The only people that ever told me anything were sometimes the Wednesday shift. John and Dawn were really great at that, and sometimes other people would tell me, but too often somebody would just say, we're out of something. And the people in the shifts before that should have told me we were running low on something. Again, I can't do a loop every single day and check food levels. That's what I rely on all of you for. You're here, you're looking at it. Just tell me. Also, please fill things. That's why I have all of this stuff. If we run out of worms for the peacocks, they're up here. Layer pellets. More chicken food. High fiber Denji hay for that big black bin in the back. Excuse me. Shredded beet pulp. That's horse pellets right there. We've got a whole bunch of stuff that we've got bird seed. We've got all kinds of things. We've got alpaca food in bins here. Everything you should need And please do note the difference between chopped hay for Johnny and regular hay for Barnaby. And when we go back to actually giving everyone hay, hopefully not for another couple of months, I'll remind you what hay goes to what animal. So please, if you do see that there is a bin empty, don't just take the last scoop and think that somebody else is going to pour a new bag of food in there. There aren't magical elves that run around here. Somebody, a human being, has to do that. And I really need that human being not to be me, because if I'm doing that, I'm not writing a grant. And if I'm not writing a grant, I'm not raising any money. So every time I'm talking with you or going through something with you or making one of these videos or filling a bag of food or putting tools away or cleaning feed dishes or shutting the lights off, I'm not writing a grant. And if I'm not writing a grant, I'm not raising money. This stuff is not free. It costs a lot of money. And if I don't raise money, we're not going to survive. Again, I hope no one thinks that I'm being too aggressive. I've had people tell me I'm actually not aggressive enough, so I'm going to go with that. No one's ever told me I've been too mean in these videos. I just really need everyone to understand. Again, as I always say, this is not a petting zoo. This is not Disney World. This is a very, very difficult place to run, to keep alive, to take care of these animals the way they need to be taken care of. Again, remember, there's a lot that happens behind the scenes. I mean, I'm giving injections and medications and tube feeding and wrapping broken legs and all these things that no one sees gets done. There's so much more that happens than just what you see in a 2-hour shift. So please do, if you can, stop and ask me if you can spend an extra half an hour or even an extra hour. Do that. The weather's starting to get beautiful. If you're not in a rush to leave, I promise you we have projects for you. And if you do need to leave by the end of your shift, which is absolutely fine, just please stay till the end of it and make sure we are getting these extra things done. If you brush one of the horses, again, thank you. But please do just not leave all their hair laying on the ground. Please pick it up and put it in the garbage. If you see their sheep wool or alpaca wool laying around everywhere, please do the same thing. Just pick it up and grab it. Yes, birds will come and pick some of this up for their nests, but I don't think there are enough birds in the state of Rhode Island that need this much bedding for their nests. So please do pick up after any animal that you brush or any animal you see that is shedding. I'll just end this by saying, some of the reasons I'm asking you to do this is obviously to keep the property clean for our tours and our fundraisers. But at the same time, everybody needs to remember, I live here. And I've given up the majority of my property and the majority of my privacy every single day in order to be the only farm sanctuary around and to do what we do here. But if there are a few hours a week that I can actually break away, take a rest, and nobody's here, I would actually like to enjoy my backyard, because this is still my backyard. When no one's here, this is still my property. Even though, West Place resides on it. So I would like to get to enjoy my backyard. And I'm presuming none of you would really like dirty blankets and dirty garbage and tools scattered around and horsehair laying all over your backyard. So again, I do ask that everybody just try to realize that, leaving here and leaving things halfway done isn't really helping the animals, it's not helping the property, it's not helping the buildings, and it's not helping me. So I appreciate everyone continuing to get better all the time and grow as we get bigger. I do realize things get a little more complicated and they might get a little harder and a lot more to remember. But that is what we deal with when we deal with a successful organization that keeps growing and keeps enhancing and keeps being able to rise to more and more challenges. So, that is telling us that we have a very healthy, very successful organization, and the sky is the limit for us. We just need to keep up with it. So anybody who's been with us for more than a couple of years realizes, and Diana, Nancy, they can tell you things are not the same. And 3 years from now, I'm going to say the same thing. Anybody who's been with us for 3 years will realize that things are not the same. And that is true. Things are changed every single day. That's why the weekly clipboard is often obsolete by Wednesday. And it's why I'm bringing on summer supervisors, you know, so that everybody can be more up to date. And we'll do that to help all of you stay up to date. If you can agree to help us in return, you know, make sure that shifts are not being done halfway, that they're being done 100%. And if anybody, by all means, if you think you don't have enough people on your shift, let me know. I've got a waiting list of people that are dying for positions here. So I'm happy to always add on. Any of you that only have 2 people, you know, say the word. If you want an intern, you want a special cleaner, you want a green thumb on your shift, or you want another animal care volunteer, I will have you one by the end of the week. So all you have to do is let me know. All right? If anybody has any questions, please don't hesitate to see me or Christine or Karen or Pam, or the other Pam's going to be back in town soon. Dawn's here on Wednesdays. We've got a lot of people pitching in extra time. They're all going to be on the ball. They're going to know everything that's going on. Please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. We can all help out and answer your questions to help make everybody the best volunteer that you can possibly be. And let's end with Robbie's beautiful face coming at the camera. Bye, buddy. Thanks, everybody.